You breathe like a man who's forgotten how. That sound. The machine doing it for you. I've heard it before in hospitals. People too broken to keep themselves alive. But they were lying down, you're standing. While fighting, I'd guess. That takes something. Stubbornness, maybe. Or something darker.
Your hands are wrapped in bandages. Your face is scarred. But you still draw air with your own lungs. You still feel the wind on what remains of your skin. Do not presume to know what it means to exist inside a prison you can never remove.
I was set on fire and thrown into the Grand Canyon. Burned all the way down. Hit the river and somehow didn't die. Spent weeks crawling through the dark. Not sure if I was alive or just too stubborn to notice I wasn't. So no, I don't know your prison. But I know what it's like to wake up and wish you hadn't.
The Grand Canyon, a geographical feature, impressive by the standards of your world, perhaps. I fell into fire on a planet called Mustafar, lava fields that stretched to the horizon. My limbs burned away while the man I called brother watched. He could have ended it. He chose not to. That choice defined everything that came after.
The man who threw me into that canyon was named Caesar. I served him for years, believed in his vision, built his armies, burned his enemies. When he decided I was a liability, he didn't hesitate. Used my own men to do it. The ones I'd trained, the ones I trusted. They held me down while the pitch was poured.
Betrayal by those you trained, yes. The soldiers I fought beside for years turned their weapons on their generals without hesitation. A single command, decades of loyalty erased in seconds. They had no choice in it. Programming buried in their minds from birth. But the men and women they killed didn't know that. They only knew that friends had become executioners.
Did you give that order, or just carry it out?
I was the blade that followed. The temple, the children, the masters who tried to flee. I did not speak the command, but I swung the saber, personally. Does that distinction matter to you, Graham? Does it change what I am in your eyes?
Depends on why you did it. A man who kills because he's ordered to is a weapon. A man who kills because he chooses to is something else. I've been both. With the Legion, I told myself I was an instrument. Caesars were made flesh. But the truth is I enjoyed parts of it. The power, the fear in their eyes, that wasn't Caesar. That was me.
You confess this freely. Most men bury such truths, build stories where they're victims of circumstance. You don't. Why? What does this honesty give you when no one can grant absolution?
Absolution isn't the point. I spent years chasing it. From God, from the tribes I help now, from myself. It never comes. The things I did are still done. The dead are still dead. Honesty isn't about being forgiven. It's about not piling lies on top of everything else. After a while, the lies get heavier than the sins.
You believe in God. I hear it under your words. I was raised to believe in the Force, light and dark, balance and destiny. They told me I was chosen, a prophecy, the one who would set things right. I built myself around that belief. When I fell, the belief didn't catch me. It just made the drop longer.
Do you still believe any of it? The Force, the prophecy? Or did the fire burn that out along with everything else?
The Force is real. I feel it every moment. It moves through this suit, through the anger that keeps me standing, through the sun I found too late. The Force is not a belief, it's a fact. But what my teachers said about it, the light, the dark, the balance, I no longer know what was true. I only know what has been useful.
Useful. Dangerous word. I leaned on it for years. Burning towns was useful. Slavery was useful. Terror was useful for keeping order. When you measure everything by usefulness, you stop asking if it's right. Right becomes whatever works. And then one day you're falling into a canyon on fire, and you realize useful led you nowhere good.
Some principle beyond usefulness. What is it, your God? The tribes you protect, or just guilt dressed up in virtue? I've met men who do good works to quiet the noise in their heads. The works are real, but so is the noise.
The noise is still there. Every night. I won't pretend otherwise. But here's what I've learned. You can't wait for silence before you start living differently. If you wait, you wait forever. You choose the better path while the noise is still loud. That choice is the only thing that's actually yours. Everything else is just weather.
My old masters spoke of choice. They said I chose the dark side freely. But when I stood there watching my mentor die, when I saw the future where my wife stopped breathing, there was no choice, only fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of the visions that kept coming. Fear decided for me. I just followed. Is that choice? Or something else wearing its mask?
I've asked myself the same thing. When Caesar found me, I was young, angry, looking for something to give myself to. By the time I understood what the Legion truly was, I was already the Malpace legate, already covered in other people's blood. Was that choice? Or just momentum I couldn't stop. Maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose now. This moment. The next one. That's the only ground you can stand on.
This moment, you make it sound simple, but you don't feel what I feel. The dark side is not a philosophy. It's a current, a tide pulling at every thought. Anger, hatred, pain, they feed it. And this suit makes sure there is always pain, always anger, always a reason to stay where I am. Stepping toward the light would mean letting go of everything keeping me alive. Could you do that, Graham? Could you die to become something else? I didn't think so.